Hey everybody, what's up? This is Crypto Cody, and I'm so excited to do another video for you guys. Guys, if you could do me a huge favor, please like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification. That would mean the world to me. In today's video, I'm super pumped to announce that we have Andy Redmer. This gentleman had been an early investor in Bitcoin at $6. He's also the founder of Elemental Knives and many other companies and a programmer of games. Let's hop into his story as far as being an entrepreneur and his wealth of wisdom. Well, hey guys, I'm super excited to have on the show today an awesome dude. His name is Andy Redmer. For those of you who don't know him, he's a successful entrepreneur and investor, as well as a founder and CEO of Elemental Knives, which I'm super excited to talk about and learn more about. He's also a genius in computer programming, and he's done super well as an investor in the crypto world. So I'm really excited to hear more about that too. And Andy, obviously, you and I have some mutual friends, so it's some awesome mutual friends. I'm super glad that we were able to connect. But how's it going over there, man?
Going really good. Yeah, thanks for the intro. Definitely wouldn't call myself a genius computer programmer, but
Well, I mean,
I-
compared to a lot of people, it sounds like you seem like you know what you're doing for sure. So
yeah, it's more just for fun. But yeah,
awesome, man. Well, dude, so I always like to ask a fun first question. And I know that you've done some computer programming with gaming. Is that true?
yeah,
Yeah, and so my first question I wanted to ask you was, can you remember the first game that you ever played, and the first gaming system that you ever played on?
yeah. I think it's hard to remember like first ever, but first game I ever got hooked on was actually Tetris Attack, which
Oh
was
yeah,
on
dude.
the Super Nintendo.
No way.
And
That's cool.
yeah, I got super into that game, and I actually just started playing it again recently. Um, there's a uh, there's someone that's basically remade a version of it on PC, and I've been playing it. It's pretty fun.
Dude, that's awesome. So, well, in addition to that, I mean, obviously, you've created your own game before. Is that correct?
Yeah, nothing crazy, just like arcade style games and stuff like that. Just
That's
stuff on the side. Yeah.
that's so awesome. How does it work, or like what was it called?
Well, try to think back on the first one. First one I made was called Soda Boy. Um, Really everything, all the games I've made are just these arcade games, kind of like mini clip type games, stuff like that. Um, there was Soda Boy, and then we made one called Space Cat, but that game was a mess. Our scope was way too big for it, so it fell apart. And then we made the most recent one we made is called Woodland Zero, which is definitely like the coolest one we've made so far. So yeah.
That's super cool, man. And are you developing more games right now as time goes on, or what are your thoughts? Or is it just more of a hobby, kind of fun for you?
It's really just a hobby on the sides, but I'd love to make games full time. It's just yeah, I'm trying to find my path right now, I
Yeah.
guess. Because I love it as a hobby. I'm not sure I love it as a business, so just figuring that out.
Yeah, no, totally, man. And I mean, obviously, you've done super well as an entrepreneur. You created an awesome company called Elemental Knives. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about that and how that got started, and what was the inspiration behind? I mean, these knives, by the way, are just beautiful. I've checked out the website. Super cool, man.
Yeah,
But where
thanks.
did you get the inspiration from to kind of get that whole thing started?
Yeah, so that really every sort of success I've had in business has always come from gaming. And so Elemental Knives comes from the idea comes from a video game called Counter-Strike, where
Yeah,
in the video game they have these knives, and I basically just recreated real versions of them, um, and they're super popular. The idea actually comes all the way back from being on a camping trip with some friends, and one of my buddies stabbed a knife into the bench, and then he was, I think, let's see, I think I said, I'm trying to remember who said what, but I was like something like, "Hey, that looks kind of like a CS knife," and then that's when the light bulb
yeah,
fired off, and I was like, "Oh, what if it was a CS knife?" So
yeah.
then looked into actually making some, and then just kind of organically grew the business over time.
That's so cool. Like I said, I mean, the knives are absolutely beautiful. And if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe if you just go to elementalknives.com, that's where you can find these awesome knives.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome, cool. Is there other platforms too that you sell the knives on, or is it just through your website?
Uh, Pretty much just through the site. Every once in a while, we'll sell off some through eBay, like returned ones or whatnot. But yeah, to get the new stuff is all through the site.
That's super cool. Now, I was kind of tipped off by one of our dear friends, Jeremiah. He was telling me that you also have been quite an influence in the fidget world. Those is that true? Like, how did like getting that whole
Yeah.
thing started? I mean, that thing exploded a few years ago. So can you kind of share a little bit about that too?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize that fidget spinners really exploded out of the EDC niche, which is the everyday carry, not electronic dance. But so really, basically, I was just doing some product development, and I came across um, a store called or a brand called Torque Bar, and
Interesting. Yeah.
that was the company that really originated it. I don't know where the idea came from on their end, but that was the first place I saw it. And then I just saw on their store how they had not many listings up. They were all sold out, and people were trying to buy and sell them amongst each other on like a Facebook group
Yeah.
for anywhere from like $500 to like $1,000.
Wow.
They were nice
Wow.
products, but the markup was mainly because of the demand and lack of supply. So
Right.
then
Right.
I saw that opportunity. I know I had a manufacturer that would be a perfect fit to make some really nice like stainless steel ones. Basically, that's where they came from originally, was the EDC niche, where you have basically a lot of makers that are making cool things out of their garage, whether it's like knives or flashlights or whatever. And so people started making these fidget spinners. They became super popular. The brand I started was called Noble Spin, and
Cool. That's
we
awesome.
made we made these nice like stainless steel ones that retailed between $50 to $100. And
Wow.
then that was that was in September of 2016, and
Wow.
then that's when like we were one of the first ones just right after Torque Bar, and then from there it like really picked up steam. By March, April of 2017 was when it had just gone full blown crazy, and that's when
Yeah.
you had the plastic ones and China making them and all that. So
Dude, that's crazy. So they actually started off with the stainless steel metal style. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I don't know what came before Torque Bar or how that, because they were the first brand to make them as far as I
Wow.
knew. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It was just crazy. I mean, the things exploded. It was just super popularized, but that's
Yep.
that's awesome, man. So you played a large part in that. That's pretty cool. And so well, awesome, man. So I'm gonna hop into a little bit of questions about cryptocurrency too, if that's fine with you.
Yep.
I know that I've got probably 95% of my viewers are very, very much into cryptocurrency, and I was told that you actually had quite a bit of success with it at one point. I mean, what drew you to it, and how did you get started in that?
Yeah, so the very beginning is kind of funny actually. It uh, Freshman year in college, we didn't have to pay for our electricity, in that it was just a fixed rate monthly.
Yeah, sure.
And I had a really smart roommate who, immediately thought, okay, how can I exploit this? And this would have been 2011, and so he found out about Bitcoin, and then we
Yeah.
started mining. And at the time, I don't even remember there being any exchanges or anything, or maybe there were, but I don't remember being able to buy or sell them. I just
Wow.
remember people exchanging them like on forums and stuff. But yeah, I knew nothing. I just mined them, and then I knew nothing about it. I was like, oh, I just thought it was some internet coin or whatever,
Wow.
like anything
Wow.
else.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it wasn't until a couple of years later where some websites popped up where you could actually like buy and sell things, and that's when I started getting more into it, started learning more about it, and then that's when like the media started picking it up.
Yeah, no
Anyways,
kidding.
my roommates and I, we each put in $100 when Bitcoin was $6. So
Holy crap, dude.
we
That's
put
crazy.
in $300 for 50 Bitcoins, and then we bought them. At the time it was through Mt. Gox, and
Wow.
then transferred them into a wallet online, and then we were buying things online, and then yeah, the price of Bitcoin just kept going up, and so
Yeah, it's just crazy.
we were just getting free stuff basically because we just kept buying stuff with it.
Holy
and
crap.
then and then the Mt. Gox hack happened, and
Yep.
that really wiped out uh, all of our Bitcoins. Also at the time, like, yeah, I think things were just going crazy in the whole space. This would have been probably 2013,
Yeah.
and the price had spiked to like a couple $100.
Yeah.
Maybe I
No, I
think it
remember
got up
that.
to like 1,200. Yeah, anyways, that's how I initially got into it, and from there I got into like some trading, like trading Bitcoin and altcoins, and didn't do the greatest with that, but it was good learning. And then kind of after that, I think I took a little break from the space, and then when it started picking up again in like 2016,
Yep.
2017, I got really into it again.
Yep.
Was playing all the ICOs, and then found out about um, different ones, how they were kind of the vision for how they were creating these platforms to build dApps on top of and all that. And
Yeah, totally.
that's cool. Yeah. So
Now, as far as like, the different dApps that you could, obviously there's different kinds of platforms that you can build dApps on. And was there any particular platform that you liked specifically or that you kind of gravitated towards?
yeah, I got really into EOS,
Interesting.
mainly because I like the team a lot, and then um, I
And that
like
was
the
the
team a
longest
lot.
ICO for that we have so far in history, right?
That was another thing I liked a lot about it.
Yeah,
So at the time, there was a lot of FUD around it. People saying it's like a scam because the ICO is so long and all that. But I thought it was really smart because by limiting the supply every day, it's helping to spread the supply across more people.
totally.
That way, whales can't just come in and buy up the whole ICO in an
Y-
instant, right? So
Yeah,
I thought that was
absolutely.
really clever.
That's
Yeah.
super cool. So yeah, because I know a lot of people. It's just so funny to like see the space and how people will argue like, oh, Ethereum versus EOS, or now you have like Tron and just all these different, or Neo. All these different things are just like constantly battling against each other. But it
Mhm.
seems like the EOS platform is so incredibly strong. So that's pretty cool. And cool. So now, as far as now, you said that you got involved back in 2013. So there was like this thing called the halving. I don't know if you're familiar too much with that, but like that happened, I believe, in 2012. And it's really interesting because it seems like about a year after the halving takes place, which we've had two now, one in 2012, one in 2016, there seems to be a massive explosion in the market, like a massive, massive bull run. And so, it happened 2016. Then we had their massive explosion in 2017. I mean, what are your thoughts on this halving that's going to be coming up in 2000? It's going to be coming up in, I think, May or something like that. But do you think we're going to be hopping into another like bull run here pretty soon? Or, I mean, what are your personal, I know that it's all hearsay and no one has a crystal ball, but what are your personal thoughts?
Yeah. Um, I definitely think it's possible. I mean, like when a supply shock hits, I haven't looked at the charts on those dates to see like the day after
Sure.
how the
Yeah.
price is affected, but my interpretation of it is that, you'll have a supply shock. I would assume you would have a price increase of whatever is not already priced in. So it can really go either way, right? Like the halvening could already be priced in today, and then when it hits, nothing really changes, right? So that's
Right.
one
Right.
outcome. Another outcome is it's not really priced in, and so
Right.
then it happens, and then we have a price shock, and then the price surges, and then generally when the price surges, then the news picks it up and they start talking about it, and then
Yeah.
it starts to snowball where people are going, oh my gosh, like if I'd only bought like last week or something, I'd be up like 2x, 3x, 5x, whatever.
Right. Right. Right.
So if there is a spike in price, then I feel like that would be the most likely start to a trigger of a bull run, right? Where the FOMO starts to kick in and all that, and news
Right. Right.
articles are talking
Exactly.
about it again. Um, the price seems to, just in general, the price seems to move really tight in correlation with attention. So if it's getting a ton of attention in the space, the price tends to go up. If the attention starts to drop, price generally starts to like mellow out or decrease.
Yeah.
But then the last scenario would be if it's already been priced in and there's like hype behind it, right?
Yeah.
And then when it hits, then there's not, then nothing really happens, and then there's an actual sell off because people are like, oh gosh, like
It's not
nothing
going
really
through.
happened,
Yeah.
the hype didn't work out. So as far as which of those scenarios, I'm not really sure. If I were to guess, I'd probably lean more towards the bull run just because the space has been pretty quiet for a little bit. And so it could
Right.
be a really good catalyst to get everyone talking about it again. And then
Totally.
with everyone talking about it again, it could snowball into a bull run. Um, yeah, so I guess we'll see. I'm kind of excited for it. I was thinking of placing a trade on it just to, I have like, I have my, coins that I just hold like forever.
Yeah. Like
And
long
then
term. Yeah.
exactly, that I'll
Yeah.
just like never sell basically. And then I'll like to do trades on events like this, for example, every once in a while, just for
Yeah, no,
fun.
that's
So
cool. Kind of like more of a
yeah,
swing trading kind of style. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
No, that's cool, man. And I mean, as far as newcomers go, I mean, we have a lot of new people that are coming into the space, and mainly that's just due to because it's starting to get more popularized. But obviously, there's new gateways that are easier to get in. Like I don't know if you've heard of crypto.com. It's
Mm.
really interesting, just like seeing all these different gateways that are not just Coinbase anymore. You know what I mean? And obviously, there's some regulations that are going to be taking place, and just different things that are happening. But what are your thoughts as far as like newcomers? Like, do you think that it's too late for them to get involved, or do you think that they should wait, or what are your thoughts on that?
And when you say get involved, do you mean like as
Just
an
as
investor
just as
or?
mom and pops investors, essentially, because there's a lot of the people I feel like that are in this space don't even have a clue what they're talking about, and I mean, I include myself. Like, I don't know everything about this space. There's so much to learn, but like for the people that are just getting started, like, do you think that it's wise for them to get involved now, or how much do you think that maybe they should invest, or what are your thoughts on
Yeah.
all that?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, if you look at the charts historically, right, it's a total upwards trend, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's been, I think it's considered the best performing asset, like since it was created, basically.
right,
And so, I mean, yeah, as the investor standpoint, I think now is a great time because
sure,
it's not getting the hype, it's not getting the attention. You're still at like less than 50% of, the all-time high, right? So now is definitely a good time if you're going to buy and hold and you believe in it long term. I think with any sort of investment, right, it should be a case where you love the investment so much that when it dips, like if you buy it now and it dips like to like 5, 6, 7K, right? You
right,
should
right,
be excited because you could buy more, right? So you
exactly.
should have such a strong mentality that you want the asset that the price fluctuation is not going to like
It doesn't
scare
move you,
you.
right,
Yeah, scare you out, right? And then you
right,
lose. Because you know, longer term, we're talking about something where it's the fixed supply, right? And as awareness spreads more people become aware, more people understand it, become comfortable with it over time. You'll just have more users and more buyers over time, like, right? And there's a lot of cases, there's a lot of different arguments for or against, but I think that there's kind of, for me, there was a tipping point where I finally understood it, like what it was and what it meant to me.
yeah,
And then that's when I determined like, okay, I definitely want to hold some Bitcoin.
yeah,
It's a, yeah. And then now it's, I know people that still trade it and they always get scared. Like it goes up a lot, goes down a lot, and they
right.
buy and sell way too much. But I think just holding it long term will be good. And yeah, I mean, picking up now, I mean, it's on a little bit of a dip, so it's a good time to pick
Yeah,
up.
I mean, well, the reality is, I mean, as far as like the entire crypto market goes, as of right now, we're literally only floating around a quarter. I say only, but as far as the world's concerned, $250 billion is really not that much. Do you think that blockchain is a better technology than certain things that we might use now, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so um, some things that are really cool about it are definitely um, basically the validation side of having a digital asset that is actually uniquely identified, right? So having a
Yeah,
unique
totally.
identifier, you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
just copy and paste.
mm,
And so how, all the ways that can be applied, I'm not really sure. But there are like, so there's basically, I can kind of give you a sense of like how I look at the space, I guess. So
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so with Bitcoin, at first, right, I didn't understand it at all. Then I thought I understood it, but I didn't. And then I thought, oh, this is going to get replaced by an altcoin or something, right?
Right.
And
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
kind of saw it as like, and then eventually I kind of wrapped my head around it and was like, oh, I see it now. It's, to me, Bitcoin is really a store of value, digital gold, right? Kind of what they
Right.
say.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
that's the way that I see it. Simply, I don't see it as this is the Bitcoin specifically as like the new currency of the world or anything like that. I
Sure.
just see it
Right.
as this is digital gold basically. So
Which is
and so
huge in and of
right,
itself.
which is cool. It's a very cool concept. And so when it comes to the technology itself, I mean, yeah, there's so many use cases for it, but at the same time, it's still early with the technology, right? Where we're trying to figure out all the ways we can apply it and
Right.
scale it. And unregulated, it's the Wild West still, and well, partially regulated, I guess now on where you buy from fiat to crypto, right?
Right.
But
Of course.
as far as all the platforms and everything, and I'm really knowledgeable more in the gaming space, and so
Yeah.
there's a
Totally.
platform I saw coming up that's called Robot Cash, and
Interesting. Yeah.
what they're doing is they want to be like the next Steam, basically. And
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
what they're doing is they're leveraging blockchain for a couple things. The main concept is to be able to have digital games because, again, because it's a unique digital asset, you can't just copy and paste it, right? So
Right.
by having a digital game, to actually own a digital game where now you have your library of games and you can transfer them amongst other users and whatnot.
Right.
But the
Right.
main concept that they're going for is you can buy a game just as if you were at the store buying a physical copy, and then sell your copy back to the store at a discount, or sell it to someone else on like a used marketplace.
That's so
And
interesting. That's cool.
yeah, and you wouldn't be able to do that, in the past because um, there's no way to actually genuinely own the game without going through like a third party, right? And so um, and also the way the model works right now with the third parties is you just own the game, like you have no way to resell that if you're done playing or whatnot,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
And so it's definitely a cool concept. And then they also have like mining baked into their platform where
Sure.
at the click of a button you can just mine, earn rewards. Those rewards can go towards buying games and so on.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, obviously, as an investor, that's like super attractive, to have that option of residual income coming back into your wallet, which I think is super cool. Now, I mean, as far as gaming goes, I mean, have you ever seen the movie Ready Player One?
yeah, I did watch it.
Yeah. Did you like that at all or no?
Uh, kind of. I mean,
Little far fetched maybe, or do you think
it
it's kind
was.
of
I thought it was kind of cheesy, but
yeah, yeah. But I mean, going
um,
off of that philosophy though, I mean, do you kind of see the world maybe taking a turn for that direction to some degree when it comes to gaming?
yeah. I mean, in some ways, I guess, yeah. So, I mean, with virtual reality,
But I mean this in the sense of like, we talk about these dApps that are being created on these different platforms and whatnot. Like what you were just about to say, with virtual reality, do you think that it could ever get to that point where we could take these dApps to a decentralized application opportunity?
I would assume so, right? Um,
It's just exciting to
I
think about.
yeah, and this is like the hardest part about the whole space, right? Is
Yeah.
wrapping your head around not only how it works, but then also what is the timing on this, right? Because we have
Yeah.
like crazy visions for what it could be one day,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
like when is that coming, right? And
Yeah.
so um I've
It's
just
hard to
been
predict.
patient. It's it's so hard. It's so hard because you need to understand where we're at right now, but then
Yeah.
also understand what are the challenges now and what are the bottlenecks that are going to hold us back a lot longer than we can. So I don't think anyone can really predict when it's going to happen, but to have a sense of a general sense of, is this like 5 years out? Is it 10 years out? Is it
Sure.
50 years out?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. For
Well,
me
you think about
personally,
it like from the sense of, and I don't mean to cut you off, but like you think
no, you're
about it
good.
from the sense of like, phones. How long have phones been around? Smartphones. They've only been around for 20 years, maybe a little bit longer, 25 years, 30 years or so. It's just like, do you feel like
Yeah.
technology is advancing quicker as we go along? Or do you think that we're just like, I don't know. I mean, you think about Google and what they're doing right now with like Google glasses or something along those lines. Like, how much longer do you think it's going to take for us to get to that point? Because for me, I'm just like, I really do wonder if we're going to get to a point where I could, instead of looking at you on my computer screen like this, you and I could be in a virtual world, feel like we're actually sitting next to each other, and actually having a conversation in a digital world. And, we could do payments where we're like literally throwing these like digital money or assets at each other in order to like receive payment and whatnot. Or I know I actually have an interview with a gentleman who is creating a virtual real estate world, which is crazy. Like,
Mhm.
so stuff like that. But I mean, you think it's a ways off, or I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, we could already do the VR where we're in the same room together, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as the payments part, there might be some things like in beta or alpha testing that you could play around with, right? So, yeah, it depends on what you're specifically asking about, right? If you're asking about, because like, I don't know if you've messed around with VR a lot, but
I'll be honest, I've never actually tried it. It's like it's
okay,
terrible. I would love to try it, but I
yeah,
haven't made any friends that are near me to try it.
yeah,
So
yeah. So I think VR is going to be picking up this year. I don't know so much in the blockchain space where the
yeah,
blockchain use of VR is at, but in the gaming space, I think VR is going to be picking up more because there's some new headsets coming out, and that will be a lot better. And so, anyways, using VR, using it in the context you were saying, like, let's say we're using it right now and
sure.
you were hosting the podcast, we could be in the same room and it would feel like it's you and me, even though we are some avatar, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
just being like immersed in a virtual world where there are other players online and you're able to kind of look around, it feels very real. It feels like you're there and you feel the
Yeah.
presence of the other players.
Totally.
So that's already,
I got to
real.
try that, man. That sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
it's
That's super
cool.
cool.
And so that's already here. The part of the quality of the graphics, right, is one of the tougher parts because um, you have you want to have really high graphics, but you also don't want to have latency with your units, because if it's tracking your head and you're looking around and it's laggy at all, then it's going to make you nauseous and feel sick, right? So
Interesting. Huh.
everything right now is kind of like dialed back a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I'm pretty optimistic on these new headsets and stuff, and um, we'll see where it goes from there. I know in the development space there's a lot of people working on VR right now, kind of anticipating um, kind of a next wave of VR, whether it's this year or next year, I'm not sure. But
Yeah. You think it'll ever like advance into contact lenses or whatever?
yeah, maybe one day.
I mean, that would be crazy. Something
I
along
think
those
that's a
lines.
ways out, but
Yeah.
maybe one
No,
day.
yeah. Dude, I get so excited thinking about the future of technology. It's really interesting to talk about, but so cool, man. So now what about you? Like what are some new, like obviously you're quite the entrepreneur. Like what are some you want to kind of share with us maybe, or you don't have to, but some different things that you're working on or thinking about as far as advancing yourself and in your
Yeah,
entrepreneur life?
yeah. So I'm really trying. So actually, it was about a year and a half ago. I actually sold my business, Elemental Knives, and
Okay, yep.
I've been involved now as a part owner, but I've really been trying to figure out like what my next moves are. And so
Yeah.
after I did, I just went full time into video game development basically, and was
Nice.
having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I just like creating things that are fun to me, right? And
Yeah.
so that's where I really get my enjoyment, not so much having to worry about the business side of that. And
Sure.
so when I started to try to turn it into a business, I started to get really like unmotivated and bored with it. And so
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what basically what is I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what to do basically. So I've been trying lots of different things.
Yeah, I
And
feel like that's everybody.
yeah, ideally, yeah, right. It's ideally I'd like to progress more um, as an entrepreneur, get to kind of the next level where
Yeah.
I am a lot better at managing and scaling teams to be able
Yeah.
to basically bring my ideas, execute on them, and bring them to reality, because I do get a ridiculous amount of ideas, but I have a hard time executing because a lot of the times I think I need to figure it out myself. And then through that, I'll get obsessed over an idea for a few days, and then I'll just scrap it with a new idea. And then it's like this never ending cycle of trying different things, but nothing seems to stick. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
No,
That's kind of where I'm at.
I can totally relate to that, man. I mean, there's been so many different business ventures that I've taken myself, and it's just like it's getting caught on that visionary mindset where you're just so sucked into it.
That's the part I've been working on is, okay, you can't really rely on inspiration or motivation, right? So
Yeah,
then what is it that you rely on? And then I thought, is it discipline? It's not discipline either. And then is it passion? Maybe in some form, right? Is it excitement? Well, excitement is basically inspiration in a sense. So
yeah,
that's not really reliable. So like what is it that keeps you rooted and like staying on track and focused towards building something, right? In the
totally.
past, in the past I was motivated a lot by kind of pain and fear. Pain
Interesting.
being Paying being that for whatever reason, my personality type, I have a hard time. I don't know. I just have a hard time working for someone else. Like I'm always so much more motivated when I'm working for myself,
Totally.
but when I'm working like under the wing of a company, I'm like not motivated. And then so before I started DK, I was working for a company, and it was a huge driver for me. That pain I had, how rational it is, I don't know, but I just had this strong pain of like, I got to be doing my own thing. And then fear was around freedom, like fearing that if I don't create freedom for myself, that I'm going to be like tied down and locked up and won't be able to like live my best life or like live my dream or whatnot. Right.
Totally. Yeah.
And then there were lots of other elements, but and then once you kind of break through that and you're set for a little while financially, it becomes okay, like how do I push myself now that I don't actually have to work? And I've really been struggling with that, like
Right.
because I don't have like negative pressure affecting me. I'm trying to figure out, okay, and the one I've been on lately is just focusing on others. So if
That's
I can
cool.
just focus on how I can improve other people's lives, or yeah,
Yeah.
what value can I bring to the world, and then just focus on that and not worry so much about the other pieces, that seems pretty motivating. But I haven't had a real business like real business opportunity that aligns with that I get super excited about.
Yeah.
Ultimately, ultimately all I'm trying to get to is just being in the state of where I was back when I was actually building EK, which was just waking up every morning super pumped up to just work and just work on it
Yeah.
all day. Like I had so much fun with that.
And it's hard too, because I mean, obviously, EK was your baby. I mean, that's like your
Yeah.
baby's now gone off to college or whatever you want to say metaphorically. It's just like,
Yeah.
how do you start over in that? That's such a hard thing to figure out. But no, it's exciting though, man. I'm really pumped to see what you're going to be doing in the future as far as
Thanks.
your innovations and whatnot. And well, dude, I mean, I guess I just kind of have like one last question: is what do you think? And this is kind of more of a big one, but what do you think your best advice is to give to people? Like as far as like my viewers or just people in general, like what do you think the best advice that you could pull out of your pocket and just hand to somebody?
Yeah. And this is just like entrepreneurship or like life in general
You
or
know what? Let's do both. Let's do
okay,
entrepreneurship
yeah.
and then let's do life in general.
Okay. So yeah, for entrepreneurship, it's going to be a run on a sentence paragraph here because
That's fine. Go for it,
I haven't
man. Let it
prepared
let
anything.
it let it go, man. The stage is yours.
So really, like I think do what you have to do. And so what I mean by that is I heard so much advice early on as an entrepreneur where you're told try this or try that or don't do this or don't do that, right? But what I've realized is we're all on kind of our own journey, our own path, and our own timeline. And so some people achieve like great successes early on, and some people
Yeah.
achieve them much later in life. And realizing that I don't know all the answers for why that happens, but I do know that we all are on our own journey and our own sort of timeline. And so accept that you'll just need to take your journey and your path to where it leads and where
Yeah.
it goes. And do what you have to do, meaning for me, I had to go through a lot of crap early on where I was trying to find ways to like make money online like really fast. And I went down all those like fake programs where you pay to like learn how to sell some specific thing online or whatever, and it like never really
Yeah.
works out. And so even though someone could have told me, given me the advice at that time and said, hey, don't do that crap, like it's going
Yeah,
to be a
totally.
waste of your time, for me at that time I wasn't willing to accept that because I just hadn't experienced enough to like be like, oh, there is no free lunch, there is no way to just click a button and print money or whatever, right?
Right,
And
exactly.
so for me I had to go down that path of exploring all those until I finally realized, okay, this doesn't work. Like in order to create something, I need to create something genuinely valuable for other people. And um, and so it's a huge, like entrepreneurship is just a huge path of just trial and error. Learn what you can along the way, but
Yeah.
it's really just execution and just continually trying so many different things until something finally works. And I also had a big misconception with entrepreneurship that I didn't understand product well enough, where I thought that if I just do everything else really well, like I do really good marketing or whatever, that everything will come together. And now I realize that product is basically everything. What is the
Yeah.
value that you're actually bringing to people? Because all
Wow.
marketing is just amplifying that value. So if you're amplifying something that, if you're marketing something or amplifying something that is not very valuable to people, it'll be a huge waste of time. It'll probably distract a lot of people from something else that would improve their lives better.
Sure.
But if in business, you just focus on the mechanism of what what value can I bring to people? What is basically, how am I going to improve people's lives? Once you figure out a way to improve people's lives through whatever way that is, then, and it's, you can do it cost effectively and it's profitable and so on. You have a little working business, then you just market and scale it from there, right? But yeah, so I think do what you have to do is like, because sometimes I just get obsessed with an idea and it'll be like, okay, it makes no sense to work on that. I
Yeah.
should,
Yeah.
right? The should start to come in. I should do
Sure.
this. I should do that.
Right.
And you can do those other things for a bit, but then your mind is just consumed with some idea or something. So I think you just have to do that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so for me right now, I'm actually consumed with an idea and I keep pushing it back, right? But now I'm finally getting into it. Like, okay, I need to just do it, even though it makes no sense. I'm just obsessed with
Yeah.
it. I just have to
Yeah.
do it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, that's what like do what you have to do means to me. And then um, for life, I mean,
That's a
for
big one.
life, yeah, for life, I would say it kind of ties into the other one a bit, where you kind of realize we're all on our own timelines. So this comes from me because I've always been very impatient and always felt
Yeah.
in a rush to achieve my goals.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
I've realized that after achieving some really large milestones that I thought I would either potentially never achieve or whatnot, but after achieving them, realized I feel no like like sure at first you get like a rush of excitement and everything, but like everything is
Yeah.
always short lived. And so really coming to terms with the fact that there is no destination, right? There is no, okay, once I achieve this, then I'll be happy or I'll be set. Once I'm financially independent, then I can do the things I want to do, right? Which is a
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
common one. So on and so forth. Finally realizing that, yeah, there really is no destination ever. And even in business, I always thought if I could just create a sustainable business that cash flows nicely and lasts forever, then it's all good, right? And then also the passive income concept of, okay, once I have a bunch of money, then I'll just invest it in passive income and get my 8 to 10% a year, whatever, right? And accepting that, while those are all great goals, no destination there. There is no destination. Even if you
Interesting.
were to
Yeah.
theoretically achieve one, you're still just along for the journey. You're still
Right.
just day in and day out. So for life, it's genuinely learning, like, how do you live each day, right? Like, because every day is just your journey, and no matter what you achieve, you're still just on the journey, and nothing is ever a sure thing in business and investing
Oh
ever.
yeah.
And so, coming to terms with, oh, the adaptation and becoming comfortable in complexity and just being, there's so much there, like, of just, okay, it doesn't really matter so much like what I have in the bank or what I have invested, so on and so forth. It's more
Yeah.
about how how am I living every day, and am I living every day, not necessarily to my fullest, right? Like I try, but nobody's perfect. It's
Of course
just,
not. Right.
are you having a good time, right? Like that's that's what it comes
That's
down
really
to.
beautiful. No, that's true. And I
Yeah.
don't think people really feel deserving of that, you know? I mean,
Mhm.
and I don't know why that is or where that comes from, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like so many people feel like I'm never going to have that, or I'm not deserving of that, or I wasn't born into a family that has inherited something like that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so that's a beautiful piece is, to enjoy that, you know?
Yeah, and what you just mentioned are all like limiting beliefs, right? Which will hold anyone back, right? If you have limiting beliefs, then, you know, something you'll realize is you're always right about yourself. So if you genuinely believe, oh, I'll never achieve blank, then yeah, you never will. But if you, even if you just think a little bit like, you know, maybe you're not that today, but if you genuinely believe like one day, maybe I could, right? But the real power is like genuinely like believing you can achieve any of your dreams and chasing after them and being truly like in sync, visualizing that, right? That gets onto all the mindset stuff. But
Wow.
um
Yeah.
as long as you're like healthy, you know, taking care of yourself and you're doing what you're interested in and you have good people around you, like it doesn't get much better than that. That's basically
Yeah.
everything you can ask for.
That's so
Yeah.
true. That really is. That's beautiful. And well, Andy, dude, I really appreciate your wealth of wisdom. You're certainly beyond your years in wisdom. And thank you so much for giving us all your time. And I know that we are going to be taking a lot of treasures away from this conversation. So I really, really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me on. It's been great
Yeah,
chatting.
of course. And if there's any links, I'm going to make sure that I have some links for people to follow you, if that's cool. Some different, companies or investments that you have created or are working on. I want to make sure that everybody follows you in those regards. And, but dude,
Okay.
thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll just say, as far as links, I'm not like a crazy social media person, but if anyone wants to connect with me, they can just shoot me an email. My email is just andy@redmer.com, and if you want to just chat about anything. Yeah.
But I hope that I can see you speaking at a conference sometime because you definitely seem qualified for that in a big way.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome, man. Well, dude, I'll
Yeah.
chat with you soon. All right.
Yep.